Hello, and welcome to a tutorial on the universal tools that are available on the state test. And so by universal tools, these are tools that are going to be on everyone's screen when they go to take the assessment. And knowing how to navigate through these and where they are and what they mean can be a really important skill for successfully navigating this assessment. So we're going to start with a couple of simple ones. First of all, we have at the top left, we have our back button and our next button. This is going to move us through the questions on the test. Now, if I click the next button, then it's going to move me to different questions. I can go back and it will move me backwards. Now, sometimes on some parts of the test, it won't let you move forward until you've answered all the questions on that page. And so if you get a message that won't let you through, it's because you missed something. So you need to scroll down on the right-hand side, scroll down all the questions, and make sure you have everything answered before you move on. There is a save button, and there, if you are pausing your test, take a break, or sometimes you can save the test until the next day and come back to it. And so if the save button is highlighted and you aren't quite finished with your test yet, then you should go ahead and save it. But make sure that you are asking your teacher first before you click on that save button. Okay, here's a couple of arrows right in here. These arrows will open or close the screen because you notice it's a split screen, and that's because on the reading portion you have an area for reading the text and then an area for answering the questions. So if I was answering the questions and I just wanted to see the question, I can click on that arrow and I can expand that side of the screen. When I'm done, I click, it takes me back. If I'm doing the reading and I don't want to see the questions, I can expand the screen the other way, do the reading, and then I can come back so I can see the questions again. And so this button can be super helpful for different parts of the test. Now, there's going to be these drop-down arrows. Anytime you see a drop-down arrow, it's really important to explore those because there are going to be tools embedded in here that might be really important to know how to use. So let's go ahead and click on these. Now, these is the questions. So I'm going to click on here. There is a tutorial. You can click on that at any time throughout any question in the whole test. There's tutorials in case there's something you missed or you don't know how to do something. Mark for review. This is a really important tool in that if you are taking the test, you have a question that you want to come back to later. Maybe it's because you aren't totally sure of the answer, or maybe you want to leave it blank. And so you can mark that question for review. And as soon as you do that, what's going to happen is it pops a flag up here. When you get to the very end of your test, it's going to say, would you like to go back and check those questions? And so then you can click on the question and it will take you back so you can double check that question that you weren't sure about the answer to. Okay, there is a notepad. So if, let's say that you were reading along the text here and you wanted to jot some ideas down to yourself, you can jot some ideas down here. And then this notepad will be available for you to come back to just by clicking on these dots. You can bring it up or make it go away. And there are several tools in here as well. You'll notice that you can cut, like if you were cutting text away from something, you can do that. You can copy something. So if you wanted to copy, like let's say you were writing some notes down here and then you were filling in a fill in the blank, you can copy what you had already typed and you can paste it inside the question on the test later. And then finally we have this one, which is a paste button. So if you want to pull like some text or something like that, you can pull some text, or you want to paste different things. So it changes depending on where in the test you are, but this is a nice and handy little feature here, having this notepad. And then when you're done, make sure you save it. And if you save and close, then the next time, especially if you flag this and you mark it for review and you want to come back, but you have some notes to yourself, if you click on this, that notepad's going to be there and it's going to bring those notes back up again. Okay, next on the list is strike through. When I'm answering multiple choice questions, almost always there are questions on here where I'm like, I know that is not the right answer. And so I can strike through. So if I click on that strike through, now that answer has been struck through. And I also know it's not that one. I don't know for sure because I haven't read this, but so it strikes through those questions, and then you don't have to be staring at all 5 answers. Now you're down to only 3 that you have to look at. So sometimes having that visual helps, and that's the strike through option. If you want to unstrike through, you just click on it, you come back, click off of it, and it takes that answer and puts it back in there again. So the strike through feature is there for you. And then highlight selection. Now, right now, it's not one I can pick because I'm right now in the question, and that question isn't going to help me. But there are times through here, like let's say you wanted to highlight now the word to. Now you can come back in here, and now I can highlight that selection just to remind myself that I need to. The same thing holds true for over here. So in your reading part, sometimes a strategy is to read the questions first, and then you can come back. And then as you're reading through the selection, it might make you think, oh yeah, that's right. I needed to know that for one of those questions. If you come through and you highlight with your mouse, click on the 3 lines, now you can highlight that, and you can choose different colors. So that's a strategy that you can use. If you highlight something and then you get tired of that highlight, you can reset. That removes all the highlights though. But let's say I have highlighted this one, and I have highlighted this one, and now I don't want this one highlighted anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and grab it, come down here, and I can remove the highlight, and it takes just that one away. So just remember, reset is all the highlights go away. Okay, so that's an important feature that you have available to you, is that highlight when you're reading the text. Lots of good things you can do with highlighting. Okay, so the next one I want to show you about is the line reader. Now, in the line reader, it will, as you go through, if you have it turned on, it will highlight whatever line that you click your mouse on. So if you like to be really focused when you're reading, you can do that, and then you can just click line by line so that you don't lose your way, or you make sure that you're on the right line that you're hoping to be on. So that is called the line reader. And if you're done with the line reader, you just click on that button and it makes it go away. And then when I click here, it no longer highlights that line. So again, line reader is another really important one. The question mark up here, that's where you can get help. So if you have a question, you can click on it and it walks you through some things that you might need to know about this. It doesn't tell you maybe a whole lot, but you can see here's a list of things that you need to know about some of the tools. In case you forget, it will bring those up for you. Okay, let's look at the top left of the page. And right here, you will see it says 0%. This is a little bar. It's a progress bar, and it tells you how far along in the test you are. So if you're halfway through the test, then this is going to filled in about halfway through. And that's just helpful for you if you're like, I think I might want to take a break. And you can take breaks. Ask your teacher. If you just need to stand up and walk around for a little bit, you can do that. And if you notice up here you're 50% of the way through and you're like, oh, I really think I need a break, especially because I still have half of this left, you can use this bar to help you gauge that. If you're at 98%, you might be like, oh, I'm almost done. I think I can finish. And so maybe you don't want to break them because you know now, oh, I'm almost done with this test. So it just kind of helps you to know where you are in terms of how many questions and whatnot are left in the test. Okay, so one more thing I want to draw your attention to. There are words in here that have a light gray line above and below them. And so in this case, this one says farmer's market. If I click on that, it brings up a glossary for me. So it is going to help me with the definition that the test thinks that you should use. Sometimes that's really important because words can have multiple meanings. And so I just kind of make it a habit always of going through and looking and seeing, oh, okay, so crates. Okay, that's for the wooden boxes of crates. Okay, so clicking on those words so that you know the definition that the test is using for that particular word. So just click on it and it will bring up those words for you. So you can see there's a whole bunch of them in here in case you're wondering what the words mean. All right, So that is some of the test options and the tools that are available to you. These are the universal tools on the reading section. So take a look at some of those as you go through so that you know that they're there and they're available for you to be able to use. And again, as you're taking this, make sure you scroll all the way down so that you see how many questions that you need to answer. All of these questions relate to the reading on the left-hand side. And then when you go to the next page, now you get a new selection, a new passage, and now you have some new questions to go along with that. And so just making sure that you're aware of those things can be really important for you as you work through here. This is, in this particular case, you'll see these questions and they have a lot of things that are highlighted in green on those questions. Let me undo this. So you get to this page and you get to these questions and you're like, well, why is everything highlighted green? Well, because it does tell you in the instructions, click on a sentence from the passage that includes the missing detail. And so as you're going through here, you're going to click on that and that becomes your answer. If you don't like that one, then unclick it and it takes it back to the green again. So just know that when you click on one of those boxes, that's how you click an answer for that particular one. All right, so I think that we've pretty much covered all the basic tools. So thanks for listening, and I hope you take some time and go practice on some of those so you're really an expert when it comes time to taking the state test. Bye-bye.